So, how do we generate a carbon credit? As you can probably guess at this point, the process gets pretty complicated, but we can boil it down into two key steps. First, carbon has to be sequestered or stored. Second, independent groups come in to measure just how much carbon was stored and review the specifics of each project to issue it a specific number of carbon credits. We'll talk more about that review and issuance process in an upcoming video. For now, let's focus in on question 1. How do we sequester carbon on working lands? As it turns out, you don't need any special type of technology to capture carbon on your land. In fact, it's already happening naturally. Take a pine forest as an example. Trees in that forest need water, sunlight, and CO2, which they use to produce sugars. Those sugars then serve as the energy that the tree uses to grow new branches, leaves, and roots. Through this process of photosynthesis, trees breathe in CO2, a lot of which is then stored. Wood, for example, is around 50% carbon. Trees also store a lot of carbon in the soil through their root systems. In this way, trees are already pulling a lot of CO2 out of the atmosphere. In fact, the U.S. Forest Service estimates that trees across America sequester around 800 million tons of CO2 per year. That's equal to around 12% of America's total annual carbon footprint.
But not all forests sequester carbon to the same degree. That's where land management comes into play. When we practice sustainable land management, or climate-smart practices, we can improve the ability of a landscape to store carbon in plants and soil. When it comes to optimizing carbon sequestration in your forest, the first thing you'll need is a forest management plan. This is a written strategy that's unique to each landowner that lays out the steps you should take to manage your land according to your goals. Let's say you want to harvest timber, and you also want your forest to be as healthy as possible to ensure the quality of the wood. Your forest management plan could include a lot of different things, from prescribed burns to thinning, mulching, and even using herbicides. It's all about what's best for your property and what helps it be as sustainable as possible. You can always change your management plan according to your needs. For instance, if you decide to pursue carbon credits, you might make some alterations to enhance the carbon storage potential of your land.
As we now know, trees and other parts of nature store carbon naturally, but our management choices can determine how much and how many carbon credits we might be able to receive as a result. We can think about things like ecosystem health. Healthier trees store more carbon dioxide. And if you harvest timber, you could also think about things like extending the length of your harvest rotation so that trees have more time to grow and sequester carbon before they're cut. These are all examples of ways you can try to optimize or just increase the carbon storage capacity of your lands, and potentially earn money doing so by generating carbon credits. In the coming video, we'll really dive into that process. What defines the rules that you must follow if you want to generate carbon credits using your land management practices?